Hi everybody. Today I'm going to start a new book, The One and Only Bob, and I'm hoping that you looked at my assignment first on our Teams or on our Remind app that tells you to write a story, a short story, about what you think this book is going to be about. What happened to Bob before Ivan met him, during the time he spent with Ivan, and then after. We know he went with Julia right after when Ivan went to the zoo. What do you think happens to Bob? So I want you to go ahead and try that story for me, and you could email it to me, you can send it on the Remind app, or you can even put it on Teams. All right, so I'm going to start today with chapter 1, and chapter 1 is called Confession. Look, nobody's ever accused me of being a good dog. I bark at empty air, I eat cat litter, I roll in garbage to enhance my aroma, I harness innocent squirrels, I hog the couch, I lick myself in the presence of company. I'm no saint, okay? And here he is. I may or may not have eaten a pepperoni pizza with anchovies when nobody was looking. Also, I may or may not have eaten a coconut vanilla birthday cake when nobody was looking. Also, I may or may not have eaten a Thanksgiving turkey, except for the stuffing, way too much spice, when nobody was looking. Nobody looking. That seems to be the common thread. As they say on the crime shows, motive and opportunity. My name's Bob. I'm a mutt of uncertain heritage. Definitely some Chihuahua with a smidgen of Papillon on my father's side. You're probably thinking I'm some wimpy lapdog, the kind you'd see poking out of an old lady's purse like a hairy keychain. But size isn't everything. It's swagger, it's attitude. You gotta have the moves. Probably I should have been named Bruiser or Bam Bam or Bandit, but Bob's what I got, and Bob will do me just fine. Julia named me a long time ago. She's my girl. She calls me Robert when I get on her nerves. Happens pretty often, to be honest. There's an old saying about us dogs. It goes like this. It's no coincidence that man's best friend can't talk. Let me tell you something. If we could talk to people, they'd get an earful. You never hear anyone mention man being dog's best friend, do you? Nope. Didn't think so. Way I've always figured it, end of the day, you gotta be your own best friend. Look out for numero uno. Learned that one the hard way. That's not to say I don't have a pal. I do. Gorilla, name of Ivan, big guy, and I go way back. Gorilla and dog, yep, I know. You don't see that every day. It's a long story. I love that big old ape. Ditto our elephant friend Ruby. They're the best. The first time I met Ivan, I was a homeless puppy, desperate, starving, all alone. It was the middle of the night, and I'd slipped into the mall where Ivan lived in a cage. I wandered a bit, grateful for the warmth, confused by the weird assortment of sleeping animals I found there, checking every trash can for anything edible. There was a small hole in a corner of Ivan's enclosure. He was fast asleep, cuddled up with a worn, stuffed animal that looked like a weary gorilla. He was snoring, and man, that guy snored like a pro. In his open palm was a chunk of banana, and I still get the shivers when I think about this. I ate it right out of his hand. The guy could have squeezed his fingers shut, and I would have popped like a puppy balloon. But he just kept on sleeping. And then, more shivers. I'm either a maniac or the bravest dog on the planet, probably a little of both. I hopped up onto that big, round, furry tummy of his. That's right, I climbed Mount Ivan. Crazy, I know. I have no idea what I was thinking. Maybe I was so exhausted I went a little bonkers. Maybe he just looked so warm and cozy that I figured it was worth taking a chance. I did my dog boogie. That's kind of what dogs do before they settle down, they do a quick little dance. Once I had things just so. I lay down in a little puppy lump, and I rode the waves on the tummy like a puny boat on a great brown sea. When Ivan opened his eyes the next morning, he didn't seem surprised in the least to find a puppy snoozing on his belly. He refused to move until I woke up. I think he was glad, as I was I think he was glad as I was to have found a new friend. Before long, me and Ivan were best buds. We're an unlikely pair, sure. Ivan's calm and serene, a philosopher, an artist. I wish I could be more like that. No one's ever accused me of being level-headed. Hot-headed? Sure. And I can't talk pretty like Ivan can. I'm a street dog after all, and I'm proud of it. Still, we clicked in a way I never had with humans. Man's best friend? No way. Gorilla's best friend? You bet. Seems to me the first time I ever heard that phrase, man's best friend, while I was watching TV with Ivan back in the day. He had a little television of his own, and we watched a lot of stuff together. Old movies, westerns, cartoons, you name it. Poor guy was stuck in a cage. Didn't have a lot else to do except throw balls at gaping humans. Anyways, me and you and Ivan, big fans of the tube. Cat food commercials, pro bowling, Dancing with the Stars, what's not to like? Once we watched this special on the Nature Channel. It was called The Amazing History of Man's Best Friend. The show was all about famous dogs. There were rescue dogs, therapy dogs, war dogs, fire dogs, and movie dogs. And this dogs and that dogs. And between you and me, most of them were just plain overachievers. Then they got to this dog named Hock something or other. Hatchet Toe, maybe? Seems his owner died. For the record, I object to the word owner, but we'll set that aside for now. And Hatch something or other sat around for over 9 years in the same spot at the train station, day after day, waiting for his return. Thing is, the narrator guy was blabbing on and on about this dog, really over the top. How loyal, how loving. Break out the Kleenex box. Blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Man's best friend. They made a statue of this dog, I kid you not. A statue of the dog who sat around 9 years waiting for a dead person. That dog was a ninny, a numbskull, a nincompoop. Let me tell you about being man's best friend. Being man's best friend can mean a lot of things. Companionship, belly rubs, tennis balls. But it can also mean a dark, endless highway in an open truck window. It could mean the smell of wet wind as hands grab the box you're in with your brothers and sisters, and you go sailing into the unkind night. And still crazy as it sounds, you're thinking, but I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours. That's what being a best friend can get you. A black highway, an empty box, and no one in the world but you. The next chapter that I'm going to read, boys and girls, is called Early Days. So that's it for now. Whoops. I'll show you that's it for now for our new book, The One and Only Bob. And I will talk to you next time. Remember to write that story.